Moving is an adventure, and moving to another country can be even more of one. Welcome back to the Live and Work in Central Istria podcast. Join me, Nora Walsh, as I talk with Irena Kotiga, a local business owner who helps expats buy and rent properties in the region, apply for residency permits, and open businesses. Listen as we talk about what it's like to grow up, live, and raise children in Central Istria. For those looking to live closer to the land, Irena talks about growing your own food, agro-tourism, and local traditions. If you're looking to live a slower paced life, raise your children in nature, and connect with another culture, this episode's for you. Hi, Irena. Welcome to the Live and Work in Central Istria podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Nora. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Irena Kotiga, and I'm coming from Istria. I live here basically all of my life. As far as I know, all my ancestors are from here. Mm-hmm. So, I went to the normal school, like here in our little village / town, Pazin. Mm-hmm. It's placed in the middle of Istria. Mm-hmm. So basically, I did all my middle school and high school here. Later, I went to university for studying entrepreneurship in tourism, since Istria is a very touristic region. So it was for me like quite normal, easy to find a job after the studies are done. And so I went that route, and I finished everything in 4 years, but I was craving for a little bit more of knowledge. And so I went to Zagreb and studied management for master degree. And after that, I started, just after my studies were done and diploma in the hand, I started a family, actually. So that was my first adventure. But later on, after 10 years of doing some administrative work, being an office manager, working in production, food production field and marketing, and I passed so many, levels in different companies. But I started my own business adventure 2 years ago. So because it all came down to meeting actually people who decided to choose Istria as their new place of residence, or some of them even wanted to start a company here, or they came for a short visit, and decided to stay for a long time. And this is where I stepped in. Through my friends who knew that I'm quite, handy with Croatian administration and bureaucracy and all of that stuff. I'm actually enjoying solving problems like that, and for my friends, for me in personal, and so it wasn't really a problem to learn something new with working with foreigners.
And so what kind of things have you helped people who live here with?
So it first started with real estate as a quite normal thing. Before 1st of July this year, EU citizens weren't able to buy agricultural properties in Croatia. So actually I started that kind of thing to open a company for them, and so they can buy a property. And then there were few people who asked me for helping them in police station, for residency permit, for, establishing, getting a rental license for their rental house, or they're partially, they live few months here, and in other months of the year they wish to rent it out, because, as I told you, Istria is a very touristic region. So that was like, more or less, this is how it all started, and now there are a bunch of, every further job I get from every new client I get has completely something different that I haven't had experience yet with. It's similar, like something else, but then it's again different. So it's very nice to learn, the whole time. I like that.
And what are some businesses people have launched here that you've helped them with?
Some of them started agricultural businesses, some of them rental businesses, even starting a shop, some art shop.
Oh, cool.
And
are you helping people with digital nomad visas?
well, this is something I've been exploring a lot, but I haven't had a client yet who came to me with that specific thing. But I've been searching a lot
you may now.
Yeah, definitely. It would be, I was thinking about it a lot, and I already started to search for some articles and some examples, and I joined Facebook groups of digital nomads in Croatia to see what are their problems, what are their obstacles, because every time I have to come into your skin, you know, sort of, when I'm dealing with your problem. So this is actually how I operate. Yeah. Your problem becomes my problem, and then I'm eager to solve it as soon as possible.
Well, us Americans love to hear that. We like urgency.
Yeah. This is not what's usually people here are always like waiting for somebody, because here in Croatia it's more like, yeah, okay, it will take a while, don't worry, don't rush in. Well, this is actually something I like here, that people are so much more relaxed, not that much like right on schedule and everything needs to be done tough. But so sort of it's half and half, you know, it teaches you to relax a little bit, that this is not actually something out of, you know, like life importance. So yeah, it teaches
And
you.
how can people find you?
I do have my company. It's called Veruge. I also have
How do you
because
spell
VERUGE.
So it's veruge.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
.com. And but I also started actually YouTube channel called Expat Hero.
Fun.
Because it's still like few videos there, because there are some questions that come out frequently, and they're always the same. So,
what are some
for
of
example,
those?
like
Yeah.
how to get a rental license, how to open OIB, like identity number that
Like
you
a
need.
social security number kind of?
Well, you need it here, yeah.
Your ID
basically,
number.
your ID number, you need it basically for everything.
Yeah.
Whenever you.
It's like in the States, your social
Yes.
security number, you need for everything.
And so some of these, you know, basic stuff, which I would like my clients to be prepared in advance. So when I can easily forward them a link, you know, okay, you want to provide a rental license. Okay, here, check this first, go through it, see if you have everything that's needed, and to make them be prepared for our upcoming meeting, you know, so we can skip to the problem faster, you know, and they can use some time, you know, whenever they like. Yes,
Sounds very efficient.
Yeah, I like efficiency very much. So
I like that.
I don't want to repeat over and over the same stuff, which are basic, which are general, and they're like, these are the framework is this. There can always be some, you know, some individualities, and there are,
Yes,
for sure. And some obstacles that we need to overcome, and so this we can discuss further, and then actually I see where is the real problem. So so that's actually that's what I would like my YouTube channel to be, to give them a framework, to give them a guideline, and then they are prepared, and we can go faster on the real problem solving.
And are you finding that a lot of people are coming here to live?
Yeah, more and more. I wasn't aware so much, but actually the more I talk with them, you know, each person tells me, oh yeah, do you know this and this and this? You know, they tell me like few more people who are like here near that they are hanging out with, and so I'm not even aware how much.
What do you think draws people here to Central Istria?
I think what draws them is basically something that they have in themselves by genetics, by like a pure nature. Because here it's still quite slow paced. It is a modern society, don't get me wrong, it really is. But still some of the values are still very much basic and nature related, and like they're not
as in the outdoors.
Yeah, like being outdoors connected with your families, with your friends, spending time more wisely, not, for example, in this, how do you call them? These big shopping malls, for example, or like wasting time in, different activities there that are just separating you more from yourself and from the others. And yeah, commuting to work, it's also a big deal. I think here is very, if you need to go 40 minutes drive, this is like, oh my God, it's so far away. But it's funny when I know that some people are commuting like 1 hour and a half every day to work. This is like, yeah, for us, it's too much to go to Zagreb, to visit family. Like, okay, we need to prepare, we need to plan this, a few months in advance and stuff like that. I need to sleep over there if I go. I cannot just go and go home, and
how far of a drive is Zagreb?
2 hours and a half or 3 maximum if there is really like this now high season.
And I'm finding pretty much everything around here is about 10 to 15 minutes away.
Yeah,
if you need to go, it's usually not more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, everything is near, everything is, quite here locally sourced.
And speaking of locally sourced, you talked about how you worked in food production, and then also that homesteading has become a passion of yours.
Yeah, well, I've been in this like homesteading world. It's not something very new to me because my grandparents were basically homesteaders.
Yes.
My parents are born and raised in villages, and everything that they provide for their families was actually home produced by them. If they didn't plant it, if they didn't harvest it, they didn't have anything to eat. So this was really, really very normal back in the 50s still. So it's not that long time ago. And so actually I grew up in that environment. So that was always really something nothing new for me. But after I grew up a bit and after my studies, of course, I realized that all my peers are so much interested more into, modern society things and like buying stuff, buying clothes, needing more and more of all of these things which are not actually essential to us. What we need is roof above our heads, being, safe and not wet and be fed well. And
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, and I wasn't thinking about that very much until I got pregnant with my first child when I was 24. And this is actually when I started to have my own garden. This is when I started to think about, okay, what am I feeding myself with? What am I going to feed my child with? Then I started to watch labels a little bit more, think about all this processed food, how much of these things that are written on those labels, I don't know how to pronounce them even. So I started to be much more aware about that. I started to read more about it, watch. Back in those days, I don't know that YouTube was really a thing then. But anyway, everything I could search about it, I did. I took all of those resources. And this is how I started, and my parents were really cooperational, and they really supported me in that adventure. Although they themselves, they had chickens, and they had one field where they planted potatoes, and that was basically it. Nothing too much. We were living in city prior to that, so actually we went to live in a village when I was 10. But still, we were like city people, They were laughing at us that we are going to the cinema, that we are going to the theater. Like, this is like for city people. That I go to the school for playing piano. Like, this was not normal in the village. Like your focus is somewhere else. Although Pazin it's like 5,000 people, so this was still considered a city. And
it is the administrative capital.
Yeah, administrative capital. That's easy
of
for
all of Istria.
That comes very handy for my work because I don't have to travel very much.
Yes.
Yeah,
that makes
sometimes
a lot of sense.
it makes a lot of sense.
You can go knock on people's doors.
Yeah, so
I'm waiting.
So those authorities are pretty much everything I need is here. Yeah. So it's very handy. And that's how it all started. And I've seen that also my friends that are not, nobody was actually very much interested into gardening or making, producing your own food. And but I started to get resources from outside a lot, like from France, Britain, US as well, Canada. And so YouTube started to be actually my television. We don't own television at home, actually, just to let you know. So every time I need something, I just take YouTube and I take the theme I would like to learn about, and this is what I like to. This is my actually main source of knowledge, or I like experiences actually to have. People who are actually telling their own experiences, how it's like. And this is what I would like to transfer onward, because I see that people even here, especially because this is very touristic region, are kind of going away from agriculture because it's hard. It's not really it is romantic. It is nice, but not many people want to dig their hands into the dirt and really play with it. So I would like to popularize that a little bit.
Yes, and I also think there's a lack of information I would love to, that you also had mentioned, which I think is really pertinent, is that because I live in a city, that you can do all of this on your balcony. You can also do it in your home, and homesteading isn't just for someone who's bought land and is cultivating it. Like, you can also do it in smaller spaces and not rely entirely on the industrial complex to feed yourself.
Definitely. You can start learning the skills, the homesteading skills, the skills of, making your own jam. You can buy, few kilos of plums and start learning how to make a marmalade for yourself. And you will be so happy. You can start to learn how to make bread, like, pick a day in a week, like, for example, only Saturdays, or make your own cake or cookies. I don't know, something really, choose one thing and then try it out and stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be complicated, like sourdough, for example. I tried also that, but then I realized, like, and my kids were like,
during COVID when it was all the craze.
Yeah, and then my kids told me, but we like it more when you just bake the normal bread, with yeast. They're like not this sour bread thing. So actually,
What are some things that you make at home?
We make marmalades out of everything I can get to it. It can be plums. We have a lot of plums, pears, figs. I adore figs. There is one old lady who actually let me pick her grapes, because here in Istria, every people had pergola in front of the houses to keep a shade. It's either kiwi or grapes, and so many people don't collect that at all, and they are so nice. There is specific one sort called fragola. And I love to make jam out of it and use it through the whole winter season in smoothies or just in yogurt, just in plain yogurt. This is how I actually make when my kids want, when they don't want yogurt because it's too sour. Then I just put a little bit of this marmalade inside, just mix it well and say, okay, this is fruit yogurt. And that's it. Well, I didn't lie a lot.
And they love it.
And they love it. I think we tried also broilers, which are like meat chickens, the white ones. which you actually buy in all groceries. That's what you buy. They are genetically made for meat because they grow very fast, and but they are usually contained in a small warehouses in these big facilities. And we loved the practice, which I actually stumbled upon on YouTube from American homesteaders and farmers, and it's to keep them on grass, like grass raised, and we kept them in like one big bin, we would say, not bin, but frame, and to fenced frame, movable, so they can be, the predators cannot reach them. So this is really important because we have a lot of foxes here, and so we were moving them every day for length of one of that chicken pen, through our plum orchard. So they are fertilizing the land. They're eating bugs a little bit, although they are genetically made, like they are a bit stupid. They don't eat bugs that much, like the normal chickens. And this is what I learned, actually. This is very nice when you try something new and then you really learn how this works. And this is amazing to me, like to watch the nature, how it actually works, how it really makes, a difference between, you would say, oh, it's a chicken. Yeah, but still it behaves completely different. So we tried that. So we learned to butcher as well. It was really funny. Me and my husband and I took each one chicken and one for our teacher, which was my aunt. And then we went to her for her to kill those chickens. We couldn't do that. That was like later we did it, but our own way. She did it with an axe on a wooden stump, like old-fashioned way. Really not nice. But anyway, that's how we learned. And then she was she was showing up the whole process of taking the feathers, moving all the intestines, and everything, basic everything you need to do in order to put it in the freezer.
I'm so conflicted about eating meat because I do eat meat. I have an autoimmune disease. And so I have a very restricted diet, and I can't eat grains. I can't really eat complex carbohydrates, grains, oats, all the things that would really fill you up. So I end up having, I feel a bit guilty when I'm eating meat. That's not something that I actually really want to do. I eat a lot of fish, and I think why I don't feel guilty about eating fish is because I catch fish. And I think if you're willing to kill something, you have the right to eat it.
Yes, yes. And this is how I feel a lot. I would like that everybody would have opportunity to really make it like this. I mean, when you try, at least for a certain period in life, when you at least give yourself a try, like, let me think, can I provide food for myself without going to the grocery store, without going to the supermarket? Let's give it a try, just as an experience, just like that. And you will start to appreciate food and local source food and farmers and everybody who are in the real local chain production much more.
And you have a lot of that here. You have a lot of small production.
Yes,
farmers.
This is why I'm really happy that I live where I live. Of course, we still have supermarkets that take, meat that comes from all over the Europe, but if you want, you can so easy purchase locally raised meat, butchered here, everything from. It's very this is something that's been passed for generations. This kind of thing, it's really, in whole Croatia is like that.
So but I feel this especially here just because the location is so fertile and people are just cultivating things everywhere.
Yeah, although in Istria is a problem because we have so many small parcels and it's very hilly area. There are not many valleys. It's rocky, so that's why here
it's
there
very
is
green. I mean,
It's very
it's like
green.
everywhere you throw a stone and you hit a winery.
Yeah, or if you dig a little bit, you dig a stone immediately. So actually, this is somebody, for example, people in Slavonia, they are craving. I had some people coming to the company where I work. I was in a hemp production farm manager, actually, and they came from Slavonia, some producers, to give us some advices about the soil and stuff like that, and they took stones with them to Slavonia. This is like eastern part of Croatia, for those that don't know, to have them in the garden, because they are lacking stones so much. And when they saw the stones, you're like, oh my God, and they fill the trunk.
It's so
full
exotic.
Yeah, so exotic, like full of stones. My wife will love it. I was laughing very much. But that gets me, that opens my eyes. Like, I take it for granted, that we are like, oh my God, I don't have enough, I have to have raised beds or something, because every time I cannot grow parsnips because they need deep soil, and I don't have it. Yeah. They will hit the stone. So it's really, we don't have much valleys to raise cattle. Mm-hmm. So this is an issue. So there are only few regions in Istria where you can grow cattle. Mm-hmm. And so that's why before people had goats a lot here. Mm-hmm. And they were actually the main source of meat and milk, more than cows. Mm-hmm. That's why actually the emblem of Istrian flag is goat. Mm-hmm. She was really important for the families to provide for food, and so that's why I would like to, although I would love to have a cow as well in one point of my life, maybe when the kids are more grown up, when I can have more.
And do you have a parcel of land, or do you lease out different?
Well, I have all sorts of ways that I got to my land.
That's your entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's where my entrepreneurship steps in. Yeah, I just learned what are all the possibilities, how to get a land, actually. And some of them nothing is actually leased, because I'm lucky to find people who have agricultural land and just want somebody to do something with it, rather that grows, brambles and, woods and stuff like that. So actually I found those people that don't do agriculture, but they want clean land, so they told me, like, do whatever you like, just use it and just keep it clean. Yes. And
everybody's happy.
And so my goats are grazing there, and we provide hay on some on one areas, because we trim the grass, so one lady is in Germany, and she gave me this land. She doesn't want to sell it or anything, but she just gave me for free. And there is another guy also who gave it for free. And you can find it in Facebook. Sometimes I see my friends, like there is one particular friend, and she was searching for land, and there were like people coming in the chat down, in the post, writing down, just come here and don't worry, I will give you 3 hectares. I don't care, like just come and clean this and blah blah. She has sheeps, and
well, that's another business of like connecting people who want land.
Yes.
Who maybe who are coming here and would like to be growing their own food, and then there's people here who want people to use their land. Like,
this is happening in all Croatia. I think everywhere you can.
It's very symbiotic for people who maybe would like to have that lifestyle here. Yeah, that it's a possibility, and they don't need to own the land to do it.
Yeah, and especially nowadays, especially since you are like in digital nomads, this is like, oh my God, this is so great opportunity. To live in a place like this, to raise your kids in an environment like this with. To give them those values of like natural life. Of course, I mean, it's a modern society. They have cinemas, they have some playgrounds in Pula. Okay, the other playgrounds are here in the parks, and but they're not like amusement parks, and there are not many of these shop malls and stuff like that. So nature more draws you than all these other stuff, which are more artificial, that doesn't feed your soul actually that much. So this is why I'm thinking that this is actually like the best possible way. I don't, that's why I'm also working on some kind of digital digital products, so I can have that kind of life. So I really don't have to go away from home that much, that I can work from home more. And this is what was my aim, basically, especially now with 3 kids. It's like, I like to be home. I really like to be there, to put a warm meal on a table for them. I'm really like once in a day. There are some times when we skip it, of course, but there are so many good restaurants around, pizzerias and konobas here. So I don't, even when we go eat out, I don't mind, because I know I'm supporting local community, and there are fresh ingredients, especially a lot of family farms that are actually these agritourisms. And this is so, Istria is full of them. So actually even if you do eat, if you can afford to eat every day out, you're eating in the best local restaurant that you can. I mean, and everything
local
ingredients. Yes, this is more or less.
Super high quality.
If it's not raised by them, they buy it from the neighbor, from the local farmer. They don't go to the big. I mean, the big market for vegetables. It's in Rijeka, and it's like 1 hour drive. They want to just go, in the morning to buy what they need, give me like, I don't know, five bunches of salad, and that's it. And the next day is the same. I have one friend that has a very famous konoba in Beram.
And just explain to me what a konoba is. For those
Konoba. Konoba is like, it would be like, konoba is basically, like literally, konoba is a cellar. Actually, it's a place where people were storing their vegetables during the winter, the wine, olive oil. This was like the storage area. So I don't know at what point in history konobas were becoming a restaurants, actually, and it's more like a restaurant in a really authentic environment, stone walls.
kind of like a cellar.
Kind of like a cellar, yeah, but okay, there are some newer ones with like newly built, but always keeping that stich or that vibe of old heritage from Mediterranean and Istria. So yeah, we call it konobas. They're not purely restaurants. Restaurants you can find more in hotels and on the coast, but in those, they are one next to each other. Those are considered restaurants more, and everything inland, especially Central Istria. Everything is like half an hour from the coast. No, not even half an hour. It can be like 15 minutes from the coast. So basically, you take a swim in the sea, and at 7:00 you go for a dinner in Konoba, which is like 10 minutes drive, like in one nice village. First village you get. I think almost every village has a Konoba here. But this is what I really like.
Yeah.
It supports local families. It makes them stay here, and connects them a lot with the then outside world. They're really grateful then for having the tourists coming, more than when they are in the hotels and just, having everything, 5 meals per day and a room and a pool. This is different. So, okay, we have also that, but I'm very glad that these kind of things are more pushed by touristic board and all of those authorities that are like pushing.
What people are looking for is authenticity and feeling that you're in the region that you're in. Sometimes you're in a hotel that could be anywhere in the world.
Yes.
The reason that you're coming to Istria is to feel like you're in Istria.
Yeah, to explore how those people live. Actually, you can see their faces, you can see their their vibe, how they move, how they behave. You can see how they maintain their houses, their gardens, their front yards. You can feel that when you come here. This is what I really actually like in Istria, that still people are preferring to have at least one corner in their front yard or backyard, whatever, not just a lawn, but to have a little garden there. Even if it's like in the high season, in the summer season, few tomatoes, tomato plants. This is what I really like, that they're still, valuing that.
So I've been just speaking to people as I've been here, and one gentleman that I talked to, and I had this conversation with someone the other day, he was saying that, his parents and his grandparents made their own sausage, they made their own olive oil, they made their own wine, they made their own grappa. Yeah. And going back to cellars, they did it all in the cellar. So you have very, very minimal equipment that you needed maybe for the wine, like you just had a barrel, and that's the tradition here. So typically, it's being passed on from generation to generation, and each home is like its own little production factory in the basement. Yeah. And all for personal consumption. Which is just amazing.
Yeah. It's very,
it
at
really
least a marmalade.
It's embedded in the culture here. Do you find, now that you have children, do you think it will continue to be passed on?
Well, I'm working on that with my children for sure. So I would like, but yeah, still it's strong here still. So
I also think there's a lot of family businesses, so they're just taking them over. So it's because of tourism and because they have places to sell these products, they've maintained their small family farms or their small businesses, and the kids are working there. So in that way too, you get the multi-generational management
definitely,
and knowledge that keeps it in the family. Yeah,
well, it all comes, I think, to the parents who really. I agree that we need to encourage our kids to be whatever they would like to be in life. But still, even if they're some engineer or I don't know, they want to go travel in space, stuff like this doesn't prevent them to, like I told you, buy a few kilos of plums and make marmalade with the kids in the evening. Well, this is like really something that they can still have. Keep those skills alive, even though they may believe completely, some modern kind of life in, 20 storage apartment building or skyscraper. They can still continue to keep at least a minimum of those skills. This is what I think the most important, just to keep this like a gene, this gene of hands-on work also.
What would you say it's like to raise your kids here? Just for people who might be thinking about coming to live here with children.
Well, I think it's amazing, but I think it's also a sort of a shock for those who are coming with children that are already have some ages, are grown up a little bit, and I can see that through the questions of expat groups, of people in expat groups on Facebook, because they're lost a little bit. Because in bigger cities, where they're coming from, maybe in other countries, there are so many playgrounds and activities for kids. You take them there. There are people maybe who take care of them there for half an hour. All sorts of these things. You don't have that here. I think you have maybe one in Pula, then you have it in Rijeka a bit, in Zagreb, but this is like, this is one day trip if we go there. But our life doesn't operate like that here. And I found that stressful for them because they're like in a panic. What can I do with kids? What can I do with kids? Where to take them? And this is what they need to learn. It doesn't go that way here. You just go with them for a walk, buy a bicycle. There are many actually in Istria. There are a lot of these adventure parks. Yes. And it's all about nature actually here. You can take them to various sport activities. This is actually very much encouraged here. So
What kind of sports?
all kinds, really. It can be like martial arts, it can be basketball, football. Okay, football, it's very popular. It can be tennis, horse riding, golf, if you really like. Okay, this is more in the north area. Basketball is very strong, for example, in Pazin, volleyball, swimming, or even with, how do you say
Water
this?
polo?
Water polo, it
I know
can be.
it's a very big Croatian sport. I thought
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I was
it's
on the
more in
Goes.
Dalmatia though,
Yes.
but yeah, I don't know so much if it's in Poreč or Pula. I'm not that much familiar with water sports because I live in inland. So, and running, it's very popular. Running, trekking, mountain biking, cycling, yeah, climbing as well, like
Yes,
mountain climb.
I've met quite a few people who climb mountain.
Not just mountain climbing, but it's like free climbing. How is it called? It's very strong. For example, in Pazin, it's very strong. Also, one club.
Yeah, free climbing.
Free climbing, yeah. Because we have a lot of rocks, like I told you. It's very,
Of rock walls.
yeah, a lot of rock
Everywhere
walls.
is a playground.
Yeah, and in Dalmatia as well, and we have also in Gorski Kotar area with a lot of these mountain areas of Croatia. So it's really and it's easy to access
A
to
lot of
Slovenia.
locals,
In
it
Slovenia,
seems.
it's very popular that as well. So we are,
It seems like that is a big recreational
Or-
sport here for people.
regarding more on the sea, it's like kayaking and winds. Kite surfing, it can be, but also I don't know how is it sailing. Yeah,
Yes,
sailing.
yeah.
Sailing schools are as well. So these are
Yeah.
it's very active.
ample.
Yes, this is what is encouraged a lot with kids.
Well, I think that's the best.
Yeah, I don't. That's why
can get.
most of these things that I see like are from the movies, and still is that you need to be aware. Like if you come here, it's like very back to the roots,
Yes.
something like
But I
this.
think so many people are interested in that and are yearning for that. A lifestyle that gets back to
It
the
can be
roots.
combined so nicely now when we are connected. I mean. The airports are very near. It's like 1 hour drive to the airport,
And
or
Pula is
2
an
hour.
international airport. I
And
mean, I flew
and
into Pula
Kirk,
from Amsterdam.
yeah, and Kirk, for example, Zagreb is like
Yes.
3 hours.
Yes.
This is really
Venice?
nothing. Venice. You can go to Italy. It's very close. Bosnia, which is really nice also as well. And really, wild. And so I think it's really they don't have to think twice. I mean, they need to choose this kind of life, of course. Somebody who likes a rush of modern city, like they can go to live to New York and but even if they go to Zagreb, for example, that would be considered for them quite like, wow, this is relaxed and like it has a lot of greenery, a lot of parks and stuff like Zagreb. It's also very nice. If you wish to live in, like, if you need this feel of a city life,
Like the pulse
then
of a city.
our pulse of a city, our cities are still very small and
they're-
feel like
Yes.
nature, very close to nature.
I mean, they're very medieval and beautiful and scenic and
Yeah, very historical. as well.
yes, which
It's
I
true.
think is so charming.
No.
But that's what you're getting here. It's not like
But still, it's like half an hour drive, and you can come to the farmer and buy local food and even find some entertainment for kids, like to meet, to hang out with the animals, for example, and stuff like that.
I think also for people coming here, education is super important of what kind of education their kids are getting.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you feel if they don't speak Croatian, are they going to be able to assimilate? What's that experience going to be like? Because I know just from my own personal experience, my friends who are expats, they usually gravitate towards somewhere where there's an IB school.
Yeah, this is, I don't have personal experience. I haven't talked about that a lot. But as far as I heard in those groups, they like to be there more. Then they choose to live more in Pula or Rijeka, something where are these multilingual schools or like English schools especially. But I think that kids are learning and adapting much better and very fast. They learn language quite fast. Yeah, it might be a shock, and you need to be very good support for them. It will be struggle, of course, but it will be better for them, because if you as a parent chose to come here, to live here, you need to encourage your kid to learn the language of that land, and as soon as possible, not to keep them divided more and more. Oh, it will be easier. Yeah, it will be easier, but maybe long term, this is not serving them. I mean, it depends on which level. If there is now like a 0 level of Croatian and they're like already 7 years old, or I mean, if they're just starting school, it's one thing. If they're already like, I don't know, fifth, 7th grade, then it's maybe a shock. Then maybe it's better that they finish it in English-speaking school and just easy, because they are going to high school or studies very soon. So it's, or they can, even high school can be done by online, or who knows. So, yeah, but
it's just something to consider. And
yeah, it's a tricky thing. I agree.
I think one thing that you said that I absolutely loved is that you have been living here all your life and you still feel that there's so much to explore.
Yeah, it's true. I've been hitchhiking a little bit around Europe. Back in the days when actually that was quite safe. Maybe it's even now. I don't know. But yeah, in my 20s, I did hitchhike to Europe, and this is actually what I realized when I was then in France, in Spain and Portugal. And then I realized actually, like, what am I searching for? Like, there are so many places, even in Croatia, that I didn't explore. So, and then when I came back home and with the kids, I started to explore more other stuff that I didn't explore as a teenager or young adult, because they were not interesting to me. And then I started to see there are so many things even in Istria, some roads that I didn't take, some villages that I didn't visit, that I didn't know that they are existing, or some restaurants and new konobas. So yeah, so that's why I really don't feel, and it's so nice and safe. And
that's been something I've really noticed about being here. It's very safe.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to tell you. Like, you can keep the doors unlocked. It's okay. It's quite okay. Nobody will come. No. So this is something, which, we're still quite happy to.
Yeah, that's such a nice
to have
lifestyle.
that. Yeah, that you can leave your kids to, to go to the school by foot, by themselves. You're not afraid of these kind of things, which I hope that nobody will take advantage of that.
It's a really high quality of life.
Yeah, still is. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows what the future brings? But at the current moment, I think it's really you wouldn't. I don't know. You wouldn't try to live here or choose like one season of life to explore this part of the earth.
That's all for now. A special thanks to Irena Kotiga for giving us an insider's look into life in Central Istria. We hope this episode shed light on what it's like to really live and work in this beautiful part of the world, and maybe even inspired you to come and experience it for yourself. I'm Nora Walsh. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Live and Work in Central Istria podcast.